I'll bring that up to you. You can, this thing will go wherever you want it to go. So bring that up a little bit closer if you can.
Closer.
Yeah, you can mess this thing. It'll go wherever you want it.
Okay.
We are live. Look, I'm like messing with the mic and all that as we go live right here. This is great. We'll give everybody a chance to kind of get in on this right now, man. Happy Friday out there to everybody.
Absolutely.
Gosh, man. He looks so much better than what I do. This is ridiculous, man. I'm going to have to, I don't know, go get some Botox. Come on, man.
We got to get you suited and booted.
I do. I mean, look, I'm looking over here at this. I'm like, this guy looks sharp, bro. Man, I'll tell you, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to the Patrick Carr Show. I'm so honored today to have our guest on. If you're just joining us, we are just getting started right now. It's 9:30 in the morning here on a Friday. Adaniel Zoga, an incredible realtor. His Instagram, unofficial mayor of Orlando. And let me tell you what, I couldn't agree more, bro. And as people kind of join right now, I want to just give a quick introduction of who this man is, because he is one of the most powerful voices in Orlando. And if you follow Instagram, social media, you have absolutely seen this man's content. He is highlighting everything that is beautiful about Orlando. Yes. And I'm so excited that you decided to take some time and talk to us. Can you bring this closer up to you?
Absolutely.
There we go.
And it's my honor. Thank you for having me on the show, Patrick.
Man, thank you. Everybody, we're going to be talking to him about everything real estate, Orlando, your content, and what you've been able to do to build such an absolutely beautiful brand. And so we want to make sure we take your questions for this gentleman. Anything about the real estate in Orlando, anything about the future of it. This guy's involved with it every single day. And I think you'll recognize him from his content that's been out there. People have seen you, so ask about the city as well. And so first of all, brother, I've been following you for a long time. And we're going to go through your content in a minute. But for people who have not been introduced to you, can you walk me through how you get involved in real estate here in Orlando?
Absolutely. So obviously I'm a local realtor here in Central Florida. I live in the Lake Nona area, but I sell all over Central Florida, right? So a lot of the content that you see me create is based off not just Orlando and the suburbs, but even anything within 40 minutes to an hour from Orlando, right? Been doing real estate down here for the last 5 years. And I think earlier we were talking about how I moved here from Philadelphia back in 2018. And I wanted to showcase my love for Orlando, how I see Orlando through my lenses.
And you've done a beautiful job. When people think about real estate, let's just, like an outsider like me, you're selling a home, you're trying to introduce buyers to a place. It could be a commercial property, residential. How did you get the idea, though, of saying, hold up, what if I showcase the areas that make this city wonderful, right? How did that idea get started with you?
Absolutely. So as somebody who relocated here, I understood the pain points of my ideal avatar, or I was focused mostly on people relocating to the area, right? Because I was one of those people. And I understood that what they were looking for, they can't necessarily find online. So for me, a big part of moving to Orlando was the lifestyle. So I wanted to showcase the lifestyle. I remember when I was searching for properties in Orlando, in the Lake Nona area, for example, in the past, I was going through Google Maps trying to find where is everything at. There was still nothing there for the most part. So I'm like, okay, I need to start creating content for the people relocating to the area. But the byproduct was that even locals didn't realize there were certain things in the area. They're like, oh, thank you so much. I didn't know about this bar or this restaurant. And it just kind of took a life of its own from there.
So great. From a marketing perspective, I've often thought of you as a genius when it came to this, because what you did is you identified that it's more than just the home that somebody is buying.
Correct.
Their family is buying into a community.
Absolutely.
And they are thinking about moving to an area. I want to work with somebody who actually knows the community. And then you went out and showed them, I know the community. I thought that was a genius idea on your behalf. And so you're sitting around, did you look at other videos to get inspiration?
There wasn't anybody doing that at that time, at least on social media. I know a lot of realtors at that time that were doing your traditional marketing, your mailers, your farming, your open houses, maybe even some YouTube, but nobody was really creating lifestyle content. I would say, at least from the research that I did, I was probably one of the first ones to start creating content. As a realtor, there's obviously plenty of foodie influencers and all types of other content creators, but the focus more on the lifestyle piece of it than the real estate portion.
Yeah, you've definitely focused on the lifestyle piece of it. Folks, as I said, we're with Adaniel Zoga right now. realtor with the agency in Winter Park, although you are everywhere. I know you live in Lake Nona, you said, but you're all around the Central Florida area, showcasing some beautiful things. All right. Anthony, if we can, why don't we bring up some of the stuff that I've seen you known for? Because I think that people are just going to be like, yeah, I remember this. So, I mean, let's bring up that first video where, again, I know you probably heard this 1,000 times. It is the Evermore video where you are showcasing this beautiful property. And I think it was close to when it opened. Is that right?
Right before it opened.
Absolutely. Right before it opened?
Yeah, I was able to get kind of access to it before it opened to the public.
Can you kind of walk us through some of the stuff, maybe some behind the scenes of what was going on in some of this, even as we watch it right now? Can we watch that up there, Anthony?
Absolutely.
Let's watch
the other
this condo community offers you a
This is the
private
race one,
racetrack where
race
you can
car,
put the pedal
condo.
to the metal. If you're a
We'll
car
come to that one in a
enthusiast,
minute.
you will fall in love with this new luxury
Yeah,
driving
it's a
club
different video.
It's the second one.
Yeah, it's the second one in. Yeah, there we go. We'll go back to that.
Orlando's
Here we go.
first crystal clear lagoon is now
This
open
is
at
in
Evermore
January.
Resort.
And I got a lot of
$1 billion
heat for
project
this.
featuring
Because
20
people are
acres
like,
of man-made
what is this
beach
guy doing in a
with an
suit in the
8
middle of the
crystal
beach?
clear lagoon in the center.
This is January.
2 golf courses,
outside.
pickleball,
Right, I
water
have
sports,
Chelsea boots on,
multiple
a full suit.
restaurants, plus a food hall. and
But
much
I realized when we're able to get
Officially
access
opened
to it,
on
I'm like,
January
I've never
1st
seen
this
anything
year.
like this.
Yeah.
This is going
Resort
to be
is a
big
must
for
try
Orlando,
if
this
you're
type of
visiting
resort.
Orlando,
Everything else
or
seems
if
so
you're a local
vanilla.
looking
This one
for a
was like
staycation.
different. And I decided to do a
Evermore
video
offers 4-bedroom
showcasing what was
flats that
coming, and it
accommodate
just
up to 11
it
people,
blew up, man. It did
as well as
12.7 million
2
views.
6-bedroom villas,
Evermore
11-bedroom homes.
saw the video.
Yep.
They ended up
Plus
calling
smaller
me
space for
and hiring me to do a
accommodation.
secondary
Also
video
check out
to
Beautiful.
this
Panorama
resort
Hotel located
once they
inside
opened.
the resort.
And
In
they
addition,
mentioned
the
that their
Evermore Resort
account
Oh,
features
shot.
2
Beautiful
houses,
shot, bro. Okay.
extra
so when I
space,
did this video, just to kind of give you an
personal
idea,
corporate events.
I was looking at Evermore
This is Zoga, your
Resorts
favorite local realtor.
channel. They must have had
This week.
about 8,000 to
Orlando's
10,000
first crystal clear
followers at the
lagoon.
time. After that video went live, their account blew up to over 80,000 followers or more.
Wow. Just keep it running if you can there, Anthony. Is that okay? Because can I ask you, were you a pro at video before? Like because were you a natural, or were you just saying, hey, I'm going to just give this a shot? Because
So
this is,
there's a whole thought process when creating content, right? So I kind of work on the visuals, but I have to also give credit to my videographer, Felix. He helped build a lot of this stuff, a lot of these videos that you see. There's a certain synergy that we had together working together. He saw my vision and was able to execute.
so
I would work on, I was pretty much kind of like the producer, writer, and actor, and he was the guy that will capture the video and edit. So we work really well together, right? So
I get it.
yeah. It takes a team, so I can't take full credit for that.
And I want to, just because this is the one that so many people around Orlando have seen. I went to Evermore because of your video. Okay. So Evermore, you got a $350 bar tab, 2 nights of me staying there because I saw this video. And I thought that what you did beautifully is everything that you're talking about at the beginning, the boots and the suit. I thought it elevated the resort to a level that, okay, it's a family resort, but wow, it elevated this thing up.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so while people might give you whatever, those people give you crap.
Of course.
Wow, you showed it as a luxury resort that made it affordable for a family to come there. There's so many things about this. I thought you just nailed perfectly that shot. Oh, beautiful shot. And I came here because of this. And I think so many people have found out about Evermore and what it is, that lagoon, because of you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even Evermore, I think some of the employees told me the last few times I went there that they took that video and they used it as part of their training when they first opened up. So I'm like, wow, look at the impact that's something as small as that can have to a business.
You did a beautiful job, man. And people get on about fixing Orlando. Okay. You're a guy who's out there who is doing something. You're really moving the needle in real estate and for the city itself.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm so proud to have you here with us today. And I'm going to turn to our next one. Anthony, it's that first one that's on there right now. Let's bring that one up here for the feed. Tell us a little bit about this one. This is a condo community called Racetrack?
This is a racetrack condo community near Lakeland. Okay, it's off of I-4 in Auburndale, actually.
Okay, yeah.
And this is another video that went viral for me. I think it did about 2.7 million views at the time. It was a very unique concept for Central Florida. These are condominiums with the ability to have your favorite race car in there. It's like a racetrack and a racetrack as well, which is part of the amenities and part of the membership, because you get a membership to a racetrack, right?
It's like an HOA membership with the racetrack, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
but it gives you the ability to live there too, or at least use the facility. Because some of the other racetrack condos is just more so for storage, but you can't really live on the unit or stay on the unit. So.
I mean, what a great thing. I mean, I almost look at this as also for somebody to maybe have that getaway home as a man or maybe as a couple buddies to come there and spend a weekend or to spend a couple of days.
Absolutely.
You come out there with a couple of your cars, you enjoy yourself a little bit. I'm not saying you drink anything where you're driving, but afterwards, throw on a few steaks and have a few beers and enjoy some of that car lifestyle, right?
Correct. And I love seeing unique concepts like this come
to
to fruition in Central Florida, right? So
these are the kinds of things I love, man. And this is what I love about your content. I hope everybody is watching right now. If you want to talk about like, what do we do to bring industry here to Orlando and people that are going to spend money in our restaurants and they want to invest? It's what this guy is doing. He's not only out there showing you the nice homes, and believe me, we're going to talk about it, his ability to sell, which is incredible. But he's showing everything that's great about the Central Florida region. And bringing attention to it, brother. Congrats.
Thank you.
Racing community. Gosh, unique concepts all over the place, Anthony. I'll tell you. Let's go to our third one right there, because like I had just mentioned before, we were, your new building is happening, right?
Absolutely.
We want to see progress in Orlando. I want to see cranes. I want to see people building new things. Because that's what's going to bring this city to where we all want it to be. And so I want to talk about this. Let's walk through. This is new construction.
Yeah, this is a video of me highlighting the different builders. So when I talk to a lot of people, when they buy new construction, they only know a handful of builders. But there are dozens and dozens of builders out there. They don't do any sort of marketing, right? And you don't find out about that because they don't market online per se. So the point of this video is kind of like, look, I know you only know maybe about 4 or 5, but there's way more options for you out there. Just reach out to me so I can help you kind of figure out who's the right builder for you.
So for someone out there they're sitting there, they're in a, and I'll use myself. They're in a 3-2, they're living in Winter Park, and they're like, you know what, Adaniel, I have been thinking about building my dream home right now. You're the guy that you can start that process for.
Absolutely.
They can come to you. And this is what I love about you. You're not just somebody who's like, I'll sell you a house. You're that guy who goes, hold on. Like, what do you want?
Correct.
Let's find the area. I know the area. I know the people in that area.
Correct.
And then I know the piece of land, and I can help you with the builders. You're doing all that for them, right?
Absolutely.
You're a concierge type service.
Yes. It's supposed to be more of a white glove service to what you're looking for, because you could build a house anywhere, right? And you could buy a house anywhere. What you can buy is the lifestyle. And that's what you have to focus. You have to start with that in mind, right? You start seeing some of those videos, for example, those multi-million-dollar looking homes and mansions in Texas that they're going for maybe $500,000, but they're in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly
right.
What you mean.
So it's you have to start with the lifestyle. You can't just focus on price and the home itself alone.
Tell me an area right now. Thank you, Anthony. These are great, man. And for those of you who don't know, we're talking about videos here that have millions upon millions and millions of views. And what does this guy do it for? He's not doing it because you're making a crap ton of money off Instagram. But what you're doing is you're showing you're an expert. And because I've seen you all over Central Florida, is there an area of Central Florida that you feel is underrated right now, if as a realtor or just as an individual?
Underrated? I would say probably Oakland.
Oakland. Okay, talk to me.
If you're looking for some of that, still has some of that old Florida charm, but hasn't really been developed much, right? You're still close enough to everything without having to go all the way to Ocala to have some land and so forth. I think Oakland is underrated.
You like Oakland?
Part of it, yeah.
You know where I'm going to go here? Eustis
is nice too.
Okay, because here's my thought about it: is that Claremont, you can't get any lakeside anymore for not an exorbitant price. You can still get over in Eustis and get on the lake, and you can still get it, in my opinion, at a reasonable rate over there. Not what it used to be, but still, I think there's some price points for that guy who's doing well, and he wants to live on the lake and he wants to build.
You get acreage, sure.
That's right.
Eustis. I think for me though, a big key point when I'm deciding on real estate is I need to be within 45 minutes of the airport.
Got it.
Within 30 to 45 minutes of the airport for me personally, right? And also I want to be within 30 to 45 minutes of date night, of restaurants, of, depending on how active you are, as an adult, how much you like to go out versus being a homebody. If you're a homebody, then, hey, you could live a little bit more remote, right? But if you like to go out a lot, you have to take traffic. You have to take, how long would it take me to get from point A to point B into consideration?
Speaking of like some of those considerations, people that are purchasing now, selling now, you're involved in this world. What are the big concerns that you're finding for buyers, sellers in Central Florida from somebody on the ground? I don't want to hear from a politician.
Of course.
Talk to me about some of the concerns you're seeing or some of the things people are loving right now about Central Florida.
Two things. One, I think people are hating the types of new builds that are out there.
Talk to me about both.
It's just, everything is so close to each other, all the homes, right? They want more space, especially people coming from up north, like places like, let's say, New Jersey. They're used to having a lot more space between homes. Here you have 0 lot lines and all these different things. They feel like we are way too close. These houses, I'm paying so much money and I'm living like on top of each other, right? That's one thing. The other part is affordability for many people. Especially for, I would say, for local residents. I think they feel the pinch way more than people coming here from higher cost of living areas, right? I think affordability is a big issue. For example, when I talk to teachers and, firefighters and people in those industries where they're making, let's say, 40 to 50,000, what can you really afford with that salary? Especially if you're not married, let's say, you're only depending on that one salary. There's not really much out there, because on average, like a good rule of thumb is if you don't have much debt out there, right, and you're making, let's say, 40 to 50,000, the most you could probably qualify for is 4 to 5 times your salary. So let's do the math real quick. If you're making 50,000, 4 times that is what? 200,000. 5 times is maybe 250. How many houses can you find in Orlando on the 250 mark? Yeah, it's not much. Yeah. And if anything, it might be maybe some condos, but then you got to take the condo association fee into consideration, which could be, $1,000 a month. Now it takes you out of that qualification process. Once again, you no longer qualify for that home.
It's so interesting that you bring that up. I'm thinking in real time here with you, because when we hear politicians talk about affordable housing, right? I think a lot of times people think about, well, Section 8 or a bunch of apartments that are cheap, right? But in today's world, affordable housing can be the $200,000 house. And that makes it affordable for a lot of people. I think that maybe and I'm guilty of this as I'm listening to this in real time. Maybe I'm thinking about affordable housing in the wrong way.
Yeah. So my focus is when we're talking about affordable housing is the middle class.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the working class, right? Number one.
Yep. So
you have upper, or high income, to then you have low income. But the middle income is the one that gets squeezed out the most when new policies come out and so forth.
Yep.
Right. Those who are high earners, they'll find their way to not pay any taxes or to minimize their taxes. And those who are maybe low income, maybe they're getting some sort of assistance. That's being subsidized. What happens to the middle income? Sorry about that.
Well, you're fine, man. You got
what happens to the middle income class, right? So when we are talking about, let's say, firefighters and teachers and police officers and whoever else, right, in that bracket, how can they afford a house? They should be able to get a piece of the American dream, right?
Absolutely. So, speaking along that, because let's talk, because me and you were talking before, you want to be solution oriented, right? Whether it be you or at the agency, for someone who is a firefighter, their wife is working as a nurse. All right. We got a lot of people that are working that way, right? Their household income, they're bringing in 115, 120,000, say total. Yep. Are there options that are still available for people like that to be able to get into a good home in Central Florida that maybe they either don't know about or that's not utilized nearly enough? Can you explain to us that person who feels maybe like, is it within reach for me if they are that family right now?
It is. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of creative thinking, right, around it. So obviously depending on if their issue is not having the money for the down payment, there's grants out there, down payment assistance programs that can help with that. If the issue is maybe affordability as far as mortgage payments, there's options such as new construction where they're buying down the rate for you to make your payment much more affordable. There's also then other type of financing, creative financing, where let's say you could do a mortgage assumption. So you have sellers out there with 2.7, 3% rates that are looking to sell their house. You could assume that mortgage and then cover the difference with another mortgage or maybe seller financing. So there is always creative ways to get you what you want. Yeah. But I think, given that the average kind of or medium house in Orlando is close to that $400K mark, it requires somebody to be making close to 6 figures at that point to afford just your average home in Orlando.
Wow. Yeah. One of the things I've noticed, at least, let me back up, that I'm reading, and I want to know what you think. it seems like there are a lot of individuals that are coming to Central Florida from either other states or other countries. They have disposable income to be able to spend on these properties. And it would appear to me that that is part of the reason why, although families are feeling the pinch here, the real estate market continues to be able to sell homes
Yes.
because we have people that are coming in from other states and other countries right now.
Correct.
Have you seen a lot of that?
It is. It's simple economics, supply and demand, right? So if you look at the net migration that we're experiencing in Florida, I don't know what the numbers are now, but at one point it was 1,000 people per day that were moving to Florida.
Yep.
And maybe about 1,000 people per week coming to Central Florida or Orlando, whatever the case is. That was the positive net migration. We also have a lot of people leaving the state, though, because they can no longer afford it, right? So a lot of locals leaving Florida, moving to places like, maybe Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe Texas, wherever they're going, areas with a cheaper cost of living that they could afford.
Yes.
But it's still a positive. We're seeing more people coming in than leaving the state. And the people that are coming in are people with money. So they're the ones that are also driving the prices up to a degree.
It's so interesting that we look at this, because for me, I believe the way that we begin to build industry back up in Orlando is by bringing those people to our city. But we need places that we can put these people, right? And one of the things and areas that I focus on has been downtown Orlando. And I'd love to know, because you're familiar with it, do we have a lack of luxury in downtown Orlando? Because I see a lot of apartments, the 55 West of the world type thing. But I think that one of the things downtown Orlando has been missing is that key luxury sky rise, the place that people can go for $750 to $1 million. And I think that places like that lift up a community. And then what happens is, I believe that it allows for affordable housing to be built around it. And we've got this great melting pot that gets developed, right? What are you seeing in the downtown market? Because I could be wrong. You're the expert. Walk me through what's going on down there.
I know you talked about it on your show quite a bit as far as what we're experiencing in downtown Orlando. It's definitely changed as I moved here in 2018 to what it is now. I think after COVID, a lot of things changed. What I would like to see for downtown Orlando is a healthy mix of retail, healthy mix of restaurants, and a healthy mix of, bars and clubs and so forth. It can't just be 80% just bars and clubs, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love to go out and, experience all that, but it needs to be a healthy mix in order to be able to attract all types of and retain all types of people to the downtown area.
Yes.
Right. Your working professionals, your families, your, young adults, whatever the case is.
And I would love to see a video from you in downtown Orlando showcasing the brand new restaurant down there, right? Because one of the things I think we're missing in the downtown area is a place that, like a little area where families and date night can be had.
Correct.
I don't see like people getting together and going, "Hey, honey, you want to go down to downtown Orlando and walk around this area down here?" Because a lot of we'll pick the restaurant when we get down there. Because there's so many that we could choose from.
Absolutely. Even retail. I mean,
what
retail do you really have? There's no retail. How you have a downtown with no retail? Right. Like, so that's why I say you need a healthy mix of all these things.
I think you're right. And that's what we want to see here. And I know that you and your friends and the people in your industry, I'm sure, would love to see that too.
Absolutely.
And
I would like to see some new condos too. All I'm seeing is apartment complexes going up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah.
I want to see the sky rises for me. Let's build the city up, right? And then everything that comes around that, I think, is beautiful, because then we talked about it off air. What you get is you get the First Watch downstairs of that condominium complex, and a FedEx store, and you get some great taco upscale place that you can have date night at, and it starts to build up an area again, and it becomes vibrant. And
you have enough people down there to support this.
You do,
right? If you think about it, how many apartment complexes, mid-rise and high-rise, have went up in the last maybe 5 to 6 years, right? So you have, I think, what's the apartment complex where the Drake is at? That went up recently, right? That's a mid-rise. You have the Moderna, I think it was called, right? Right? That went up in the last maybe 5 to 6 years. You have the Society, right? That's what, 20 plus stories high. I mean, that's over 2,000 plus residents that are living there. They're paying a premium to live in those apartments. Those apartments are not cheap.
Yeah.
Right. So
I want to let me ask you this, because I see you're one. Here's what I think is different. Everybody, we're with Adaniel Zoga with the agency. please ask questions about real estate. We're going to ask them at the end of the show. I'm keeping an eye over here. Anthony's keeping an eye on his side. We're going to be asking him some questions from you. He is the guy that you've seen in all the videos on Instagram. We all love him. We all find out what we're going to do in Orlando by watching your stuff. And that's why we're talking to you today. I want to talk a little bit about, I lost my train of thought, but that's happens with the show.
That's how you know it's not scripted.
No, there's no scription, no scripted right here. We're doing this live. Because I really had a question for you about, when it comes to the retail side of things. Never mind. I know what I was going to ask. Your industry. One of the things that I've thought about that makes you different and from so many other realtors in that world. Is it okay to call it real estate like that?
Absolutely.
So many other people show artist renditions. You're not an artist rendition guy. Like you show the thing, it's like there.
Yeah, I'm boots on the ground type of guy. Yeah.
I thought about. We were thinking about this interview with you because it's so easy to do. Look, we have this artist rendition of what's going to come at Westmore. Is going to be built one day, but then it's like, where is it? Right. One of the things about your content is it's like this is Evermore. This is new building. This is new construction. This is the racetrack.
Yeah.
Like you're doing it. You don't take the lazy route of, and I'm not saying it's not a place for that. I love it. You get people excited.
Absolutely.
But you actually like get on the ground and do that.
Yeah. Cause I like to see have they moved any dirt yet? Or like what's really there. I like to go there. And obviously sometimes we have to use renditions if nothing is, nothing has went up as far as structure wise, just to kind of paint that picture. But yeah, I like to be boots on the ground of what I'm covering.
I want to talk about things that you've covered. Is there a place that you feel like you've covered that you're like, man, I don't know why more people ain't showing up here? And it's okay if you, because I know some places like we kind of want to be under the ground a little bit. But is there some place where you're like, this place is impressive?
It is. Sometimes I get some pushback with some of the content, right? Because people, especially locals, like, oh man, you blowing up the spot. Why you gotta tell people about this place or this place? But to me, it's just like, look, I just want to show love to the things that I appreciate, frequenting. Right. So there's too many to pick from. And I want to be fair to all the different business owners. I don't want to have to pick one. Select just one.
I got it.
Because I do love them all for different reasons. So
that's very fair, and I can understand that. We're trying to get out there now. We're going after this to draft the draft day or draft camp. He's going to kill me for messing it up. But over in Winter Park, where he's training athletes over there for draft day.
Nice. Okay.
So we're going to go focus on that and trying to get out there into Orlando to try to get what people think about the city.
Of course.
One of the mistakes I think I've made, me and you just having a conversation, we'll turn more to your personal brand, is I talk a lot about fixing Orlando, right? But part of fixing it is not just the problems, but what is actually going right in the city.
Yep.
And you are one of my goals because I want to bring what's going right here as well, not just focus on the negative.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people love that because it's
newsworthy stuff to scroll, of course. Yeah.
And we have to be kind of hyperbolic about that at times, but you're an example of what's going right in there. And part of what gets people to stop on you, and this is something I want individuals who are business owners, if you're aspiring to have an audience and a brand online, is your personal brand. When people watch you, the way you move, the look, the suit, the beard, the way you speak, there's a certain stoicism about it. Where did that professional or where did that presence come from? Because I think a lot of people stop ever creating because they think to themselves, well, I'm not a camera person, but I'm very interested to hear about your journey there.
So I think the stoic part comes from my roots. I'm Albanian and Greek. I grew up overseas before I came to the US. So, that culture being around that, I think that's part of it. As far as from a personal branding perspective, what I would tell people who are considering going live or starting their social media page or their personal branding journey is better to fail while nobody's looking versus when you have 1 million+ people, right? You're always going to look back and be like, oh man, that's so cringe, or what I was doing was, but it helps you, repetition, right? It helps you kind of build up to the person that you're going to be. So you have to just put in the work.
You are.
If I look at some of my early videos, I'm like, oh my God, like I look horrible, or what am I saying? But you have to get started somewhere. So, and as long as you're being authentic to who you are, I think that.
Someone asked, what was the first video that you did? Like the first place you ever went out to in Orlando?
The very first place that I went out, I think the very first videos that I did was mostly real estate, like as far as like neighborhoods. I wanted to show people the different neighborhoods in Orlando. The very first business that I covered, I'm trying to think which one was the very first one, because I've done so many.
You have, man.
One that I enjoyed, I think would have been the Orlando house party. Have you been to that one?
No. What is this?
They throw on these events, I think, like once a month.
Okay.
At the Grape and the Grain.
Okay.
And they do different types of, it's almost like a house party, right? Kind of like it brings you, if you're like an 80s baby, kind of brings you to that. You know, you remember going to people's houses, listening to some R&B, some reggae, whatever the case is. That's what they kind of put on.
Like somebody had like a stereo system.
So they'll have like, you know, actual professional DJs putting on some music, but it's for people who actually want to go out and dance and have a good time.
Okay, I love that.
Because, you know, a lot of the clubs nowadays, it's all nothing but just VIP lounges. Nobody's dancing. Nobody's getting on the dance floor anymore.
That's right, man.
Right? Everybody's just trying to monetize it, trying to make as much profit off of it from bottle service and so forth. But it becomes a staring contest. Everybody's just looking at each other. I'm like, why isn't nobody just enjoying
Everyone's trying to buy bottles and outdo one another and all that stuff.
And I don't know if, just to answer the question, I don't know if that was the very first one, but that's just one of the many that kind of really, you know, pops up.
Walk me through the creative process, because for people out there who are thinking about, well, for my business, I own a roofing business, right? What would I do if I wanted to showcase different things? Do you sit down with a videographer and kind of come up with places? Do you look like online? How do you find your inspiration?
So there's quite a bit of research that goes into it.
Yeah.
Part of it is because I'm so active. You know, I'm always out there, right? Kind of exploring different places and so forth. So it's firsthand experience. Second part is I also read a lot of articles from Orlando Business Journal to Growth Spotter to kind of put me onto the different places that are popping up. And then I also kind of, like I said, just do my own research on, if I see a sign pop up, I'm like, I haven't seen anything on this. Let me do a little bit of research. Or what is this that's coming up here? Let me talk to other businesses. Do you know what's coming up here? And that's how that kind of comes about.
People think, when we advise clients, scripting is something that we used to be big on. We want to write a script for everybody. Sometimes, though, we found when we get out there, it's great to just kind of go by a feeling.
Yes.
Like if you're out there, like I'm thinking about that Evermore video for you, it's bright and it's sunny and you're looking around like, okay, maybe I had a vision in my mind of what I wanted to say here, but let me try it a little bit of a different way. Yeah. I think that can happen when you get out to a place.
Oh, with that video, by the way, we lost the audio. The audio was chopped up and it still performed. It was one of our best performing videos. So sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to put it out there.
Yeah,
you know,
so true. That perfection, it's the enemy of progress.
But you know, what we also learn from creating so much content, sometimes having a script or an idea of what you're going to talk about, or at least those first 3 seconds to stop the scroll, is very important versus shooting off the hip.
Yeah, but couldn't agree with you more on that. You know, when we go into this thing and we try to create short form content from it, the reason we go live is because I want everybody to know that it's authentic.
Correct.
I didn't want to just sit down with you and go, all right, we're going to go in and look at a teleprompter. I'll act like I'm asking you a question. You'll respond beautifully. Yeah. We could do the hook that way. And I bet we could have more views by doing it that way. But what Anthony tries to do is just take the authentic conversation and then we break it down into short form content that's bite-sized for people to be able to see. Yeah. Right.
And you've done an amazing job with that.
I appreciate it, man. We're trying. But I want people to know that that's the reason we go live with it.
Just to give you your flowers too, I came across your content when you started doing those videos about Visit Orlando, which hit really home for me. So
yeah, I mean, Visit Orlando has been something that has been a topic of the show. And, you know, I'm hoping, here's my hope in the end when it comes to Visit Orlando, is that they will watch the content. They will say, you know what, we don't like this guy, but we want to have a conversation with him so that he can understand our perspective. I get onto this and I want people to get attention to a particular subject. And I tell people to get attention to that subject, I have to be Patrick Carr and I have to tell them, I have to get their attention because it's important to me. But that doesn't mean that I can't sit down with somebody and go, okay, I brought attention to what I believe the problem is. Now let's have a conversation, me and you, about it. And my hope is that instead of crawling into the ball and going, Patrick, he doesn't like us and he says bad things about us, that what they will do is they will say, we see there's a problem in our image. We see that people don't trust us with their money. and we see that there's just a complete, what I might call, how would I put this? The view of our organization is flawed in the city. And I hope that they will say that and admit it. And then we can sit down and people can see for themselves whether they agree or disagree with how they're using money. Because when I sit down with you, I'm like, Lord, come on, guys. You're given $100 million plus budget. Orlando deserves better, and that's my opinion. And I think that people in real estate like yourself, you want to see more vibrant Visit Orlando, if whatever the organization is, because that helps all of us to make more money here.
Well, that's the thing, right? So when I moved here in 2018, and I would tell people, "Hey, I live in Orlando now." They're like, "Oh, you live in Disney World?" I'm like, "No." Or they didn't even know. They didn't even know Orlando had a downtown, right? I know we don't have the best skyline, any of that, but we still have a downtown, right? So people thought Disney Springs was downtown Orlando, right? A lot of tourists
all the time.
So that means somebody's not telling or doesn't put the right narrative out there about what Orlando is.
Yep.
Because people still associate it with just Disney alone. It doesn't associate it with its true Orlando culture. And that's what I wanted to highlight when I started creating the content.
You're absolutely right.
I was my own version of Visit Orlando pretty much. I'm like, hey, this is what I love about Orlando. Let me show you the different parts.
And I think what a powerful thing would be if me and you opened up our phone and said, let's get some people here to go create content about what's beautiful about Orlando.
Absolutely.
And then we put that together. In fact, now it's given me an idea. And we started an Instagram page and said, we're going to put together the people that are going to highlight the best of Orlando. Here's 30 people. Everyone go out and create your own video. We'll all put this together. We don't monetize it. We won't do anything. It'll just be what we need to do. Now it's giving me an idea.
Anthony, I mean, there's a lot of amazing content creators.
So
many great ones. I could name just a dozen just off the top. There's a lot of great content creators.
They're great. Yeah. But when I look at this and I think to myself, like, okay, when I came to Orlando, I was a concierge in a Grand Vista and a Marriott Resort and all those over there. Did I ever send anybody to Orlando? No, because there wasn't anything to send them to, right? And even if there was no marketing for our city, right? It was all like, okay, we're going to send them Medieval Times, which I love Medieval Times, the next person. But at the same time, there has to be something that brings people to our city to build it up. Right. There's 70+ million people that are coming here. And I have a real feeling if they went to the places that you were highlighting, so many more families would say, I want to live in this place, not just visit Orlando.
Yeah. But it also helps support a lot of the local businesses too, right? Because now you're sending a lot of that tourism their way and not just keep it in that iDrive corridor or that, tourism side.
Yeah. And, I've said it before, and I mean, you've probably heard of my content. We're sandwiched between the largest university and the #1 tourist destination in the world in Orlando. And that's Orange County too. Yeah. Let's talk about what you see. I had a few more questions here for you. I know your time is very valuable, but I want to make sure here, everybody. Adaniel Zoga with the agency, this guy's content blowing up all over social media. When you go to other counties right now, are there other counties that you're excited about? For me personally, I look at Lake County right now. Whoa, the expansion out there. Where are you seeing it? The expansion is just incredible right now.
Lake County for sure. Lake County and Osceola County are experiencing some tremendous growth. I do like what I'm seeing with Lake County and some of the pushback too that I'm seeing from some of the local politicians there. For example, I was just in Mineola.
Okay.
Right. Excellent location because you're right off of the highways and so forth. And I just went to visit the new Crooked Can food hall and brewery that just opened up over there. And that's part of a larger master plan that they have, right? And part of a bigger commercial project that they have there. But I remember they were trying to put, I think, one of the anchor tenants for that new town center. They were trying to put Walmart there, and people push back like, no, we don't want that here. We want like a true town center, right? We want mom and pop businesses. We want things that people could just go and be excited about. We don't want these copy and paste, Walmart, nail salon, No, give us something different.
Yeah, right? Home goods, just it's just gonna be the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I love Lake County. They've got that. Sabatini over there. He's about as far right as they come. Let me tell you, in Lake County. Okay. I can't. What is he over? But I mean, he's just conservative through and through over there. In Lake, but Lake County is one that I'm excited about right now. Seminole. I think it's got to pick the pace back up. Lake Mary and that whole area was like, do you remember when it was that town center in Lake Mary that had Corona Cigar Bar?
Yeah.
It had that whole Amira, was it Dexter's that was in there? Like,
I know about the Coronas. I think they've added some new concepts there. There's also a movie theater there, I believe, and a few other things. Yeah.
I lived there above Corona Cigar Bar, and I remember that being a really cool place. They had that Irish place there as well on the corner. That whole town center right there was cool. And then COVID hit, and some of those things kind of fell apart right there. And that was something that for me, I was like, dang. And then I moved downtown, and that's how I kind of got used to that area. I got some questions here from the audience. Do you have some stuff you can ask, Anthony? I've got some stuff over here too.
Absolutely.
Anthony, do you mind if I go first? No, go first. Let me go here. Thank you, Director of Lux Med Spa. I do feel that downtown Orlando is missing luxury spaces, services, and retail. Feel the city prioritizes small art displays and building facade updates as opposed to designed retail or designated retail and services. Sorry, I butchered the question. I think that's kind of like what we were saying.
Absolutely.
Miami.
Like I would love to see some more new rooftop bars in downtown Orlando, right? We don't really have much there.
Whatever. Remember that place they had? It was kind of outside of downtown Orlando. It was like the cars at the bottom, and then it was
yes. I remember. Actually, that's in Ivanhoe Village.
Ivanhoe, yeah.
That was the M Bar.
Yeah.
I do miss that spot. That was such a great guy spot. All the classic cars, the bar, and I don't remember what happened. I can't remember what happened. I do remember reading an article on it, but something happened. They had to shut down the business. But yeah, that was a great concepts like that. I love anything that's different. Yeah,
that's what I want. And so if we had those all around downtown, I walk from this building right here, and then I walk next door to this building, and it's an arcade, and then I had that building next door that had some old car in it. Yeah. That to me, then what in my opinion happens is people go, I want to live down there. And then somebody says, well, I'm paying $3,500 a month for an apartment. I need to call Mr. Zoga over here and go, I need to I want a condo in downtown Orlando. Yeah. But right now that inventory is not there. And so for me, that right there, I appreciate that, Director of Lux Med Spa. Thank you for that right there, because we agree we need to get more of that retail. Anthony, what do you got on your side, buddy?
Yeah. He just wants to know, have we talked to any big developers, and then what can they say about their mindset today in Orlando, and what kind of projects are they interested in?
There's a lot of projects on the pipeline. The problem is getting the financing in a way that makes sense for them, right? The numbers, because the rates are so high. It's like they create these renderings and these visions, and they propose all these different things. But then when the time comes to actually put this together, realize, wait a minute, the numbers have went up from what it was a year or two ago when we first came up with this concept. And that's what's stalling a lot of these projects.
Yeah, I agree with you. And to dive into a little bit of detail, I think, and you know more about this, so correct me here. Let's take the project like Westmore. On a general, let's just say general level, how these projects normally work is they need financing, right? So people get together and they decide, I'm going to pay this much of it, and I'm willing to invest this much. This is what I believe the property is worth. I think I'm going to get this return. Here's the amount of money I want to give. But it doesn't just happen overnight. And so a project like Westmore, the people that are investing in it, I think what happened is they looked at the surrounding city, and the people that said, I'm going to give 70%, all of a sudden said, don't think this building's going to get the exact return that I thought it was. I'm only going to do 60% now. There's a 10% gap now that needs to be filled. And so when that 10% gap can't be filled right away, project gets postponed. And now we have piece of dirt.
Correct.
And for me, this is where I think the city kind of overshot. Because I think what they expected was if we start to kind of squeeze out some of these guys, we can have enough new building to offset it, and then they're going to get what they want. But by moving too quickly and not taking care of the entertainment down there and not taking care of the apartment, the people who are paying $3,500 a month, what happened is people started to leave. And then the values of those downtown properties started to go down. And by value, I mean the return that investors feel like they could get. And so projects get stalled.
I think there's a lot of factors involved, right? And there's some of it that is maybe a controllable factor, and some other things that are kind of outside of, the market conditions, the war, all these different things. There's so many it's tough to pinpoint and say, hey, this is the reason why it's stalled. But I'm sure a big part of it does have to do with the financing that they're obtaining.
That's right. And so I got a final question here for you. Okay. I want to know this, man. Like you personally, when I look at your brand, this who you are, who do you serve? Because like if I am that family who's I've been looking for a realtor, but I look at you and I can't afford the properties maybe that you sell. Even do you help those families? Do you have people on your team?
I serve all price points. Even though obviously I do quite a bit on the higher end, I serve all price points. And I have a heart for everybody, right? So for me, like I said, whether you are a first-time buyer, whether you are a move-up buyer, whether you're a luxury buyer, I have something for everybody.
Oh, because I mean, for me personally, like every bit of money I make goes back into this company, right? Or not this company, my company, right over there. This doesn't make me any money. This is just my passion project on this side. There are probably a lot of people though, when they come to you, either they're like, I don't know, I feel maybe a little embarrassed because I don't have millions of dollars, right? And I don't know, like, I don't know, kind of when you're a first-time home buyer, I'm probably sure there's a little bit of apprehension from people, right? Like, I don't make a lot of money. I'm just a guy making 60,000, 50,000 a year. And I'm not worth somebody's time.
No, not at all. And honestly, that's something I struggle with when people feel like that. It's like, I don't want you to feel, well, why would you feel like that? Right? Like, I'm like, what do you mean? I'm not better than you. Like, why would you think that you cannot approach me about something or ask me for my services? Right. So like I said, I don't care what your budget is. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. And
do you find everyone over at the agency, let's talk about this kind of end. I'm sure you wouldn't hang your hat with somebody that was not doing things the right way. Tell me about the agency.
It's a boutique brokerage. It's more of a high-end brokerage, obviously. But they're pretty new to the Orlando area. They've been open for about 1.5 years now, more or less, going close to 2 years. And I decided to go into that brokerage. I was with a different brokerage prior to that. I was trying to go with something a little bit more boutique. That's why I chose them. And I like the location, of course, in Winter Park, and just decided to, hang my hat there.
I think they made a great choice by getting you. Let me tell you what. What did I miss about you, bro? I always ask every guest, is there anything you want to get across to our audience about you and your brand, what you're doing right now? Anything, brother?
Anything. That's tough.
Is there a project that you're like, hey guys, about this, you want to contact me right now? I don't know.
Not really. I haven't really been putting out as much content as I have in the past. So to my audiences, I do apologize. I'm going through a rebranding, more or less. Want to get a lot more intentional with the content, the style, and the storytelling piece of it. That's what I enjoy. So I wanted to create more of a cinematic storytelling type of videos moving forward instead of what I was doing before. So
I can't wait to see that.
So and I'm going to start highlighting a lot of things that most people don't highlight. For example, one of the videos I'm working on next is the boxing scene in Orlando, right?
Let's go.
So I want to start highlighting things that people don't really talk about. You won't see realtors talking about the boxing, or I'm going to cover every inch of Orlando and Central Florida from what it has to offer, the different industries, the different people. I want to tell everybody's story.
Because I believe you're right. Like, I'm thinking, if I was an MMA fighter, or I love to train jiu-jitsu, if I did, like, wow, wouldn't I love to know the jiu-jitsu community, or like the boxing community there?
I think what people miss, Orlando has so much talent from every facet, from every industry, and those stories don't usually get told. So I want to be the guy that tells that story.
Well, I think you're doing an amazing job. Adaniel Zoga, everybody, this man right here, we will put all of his information below, Anthony. Let's make sure we tag him in all this so that people can find you.
I appreciate that.
If I was in the market right now, real estate, this guy right here is the man that I would speak with. Man, we just met each other today, and I appreciate you coming on. I never know what to expect when I'm going to sit down with somebody. You actually have like the personality too. You're not just this online guy with millions of views. It seems like you genuinely care about people in this city, bro.
Oh, yeah. And when people approach me on the street, they're like, you're just like, I see you on camera. You're so approachable. I love that. Yeah. So.
Well, it's an honor to be able to sit down with you. I've been a fan of your work. You're doing such a great job. And I want to say this, as you grow, I hope you will come back. If there's anything that we can forward, like when you make the content, we'll push that we want to know about it. We'll do some shorts. We'll talk about it on the show. Anthony's shaking his head. People like you are what we should be focusing on to fix the problems that we have in a city that is already great.
Yes.
We just need to make it better.
Exactly.
And so I need to do a better job of that. You gave me a good reminder of that off camera.
It's
and
a
I
good
appreciate that.
good mix, right?
Yeah,
Because you're
that's
drawing
great.
attention to the problem, and I'm also drawing attention to what's beautiful. And
I
I think
love
that mixture of both is what we need for the
We
city of
want you
Orlando.
back on the show, man. You're the best, all
Absolutely.
right? Everybody, again, Adaniel Zoga with the agency. That's over in Winter Park, but he covers all of Central Florida. We'll be putting out some short form content so you get to know this guy a little bit better. Thank you all for joining us here on the Patrick Carr Show. We will see you all on, well, actually, I'll be doing some live stuff tomorrow, Anthony. So we will be live tomorrow over in Leesburg, some special stuff for you coming tomorrow. So keep your eye open for that. And we'll see the rest of you on Monday. Have a great rest of your weekend.